I gotta say welcome, first of all, to everybody on all platforms. This is gonna be one of the most on-the-rails videos I will do, and that's why I'm trying to only do them like once a week, so we'll do them on a Monday. I'm starting this one off with, of course, S-tier primaries, and, you know, the S-tier is really just me saying, here are the top 20 primaries. Okay, that's it. There is an S-tier inside of the S-tier, which is the top 10, which I kind of tried to workshop a little bit, and that was an important one. And then, you know, you look at the bottom 10, and you can kind of see, and title and thumbnail and all. Do I think the Bubonico is a bad weapon? No, but it is the bottom of the S tier. Like you call this a big loadout. But I did want to mention, so I did a little bit of digging into like how like my actual stats in terms of like weapons that I use regularly. You know, a lot of times when I'm doing stuff off camera, I'm only using the S tier weapons. I'm using weapons that are actually like separated in my usage list. They have way higher usage because they're really, really strong. So I think some of them are not in that category, but yeah, a lot of these guys I've been kind of bringing in recently and trying to have some fun with it and test usability and stuff like that. So yeah, it's important to understand that, like, you know, basically like everything on my channel, a lot of this stuff is very subjective, and I think, you know, if you've watched any of my abilities, or excuse me, any of my videos, you'll know that like usability is a big factor, but obviously just like raw damage output ends up being very important. So you'll see a couple setups when we get into the builds. Basically, you know, we'll talk about for like maybe hopefully 10 minutes. I'll go through the list. You can just see the list and learn what you will, I guess, and judge what you will. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is like, I think if you watch a lot of my content, you're like, oh, this kind of makes perfect sense. But, you know, I'm not telling you to do that. But if you're ever curious how I land on these stats, like, it is still just the usage list and just being able to roll with stuff. And it's like, how easy is this something that's going to just like solo the entire map and nuke Thrax enemies? So obviously, like, you know, when I'm doing my testing, you know, I'm not really going to level cap. You know, a lot of these builds probably can, but that's not really for me. You know, I've said that for me, I think most people can agree that Cascade is very difficult, but yeah, I'm going for, you know, what is it, 5 rounds, 10 rounds. You know, when I'm on stream, I'll do, instead of doing, you know, 10 rounds, I'll do 2 segments of 5 rounds, so I can show you 2 separate builds that are, you know, based on my usage and stuff like that. So you know, I gotta say, like, this list has been, you know, fun to test. And I will also mention that, like, I'm showing the top 40 primaries, but my primary list, it hovers, it should be over 70. That's what I've been looking at, is like, I have a bottom 30 below that I would still probably call A tier, but they're way too weird. I think they're very good, but the setups that I have on them are like a little bit crazy. So what I have to say is that, yeah, we're doing the top 20 this week, and then next week we're going to do the bottom 20, or the next 20, and those are going to be the A tier weapons. We get a couple more fun examples. We get to talk about, you know, we're talking about Paris Incarnon on this list. We'll talk about Dread Incarnon on that list, and, you know, some ideas around, like, okay, well, it incentivizes you to do X, Y, and Z, so maybe you build around that, and you can get some crazy combos going. So I think that's a lot of the list is like, you know, I could start right off the list, which I should be doing with Torid Incarnon, where, yeah, it's a primary blight blast weapon. It's got blight and blast. Apparently I'm going to struggle saying that, but it doesn't have, you know, a lot of these setups have fire and slash. Like, they get some big damage, but yeah, this thing is just proccing. Being a beam weapon, you're, you know, clearing your blast procs like basically instantly. So it just had like a level of raw damage, or, you know, I had the idea of like doing testing just without being able to prime anything. You know, I don't have a companion that can like shoot enemies and stuff like that. So I gotta say, man, I had no buffs. It was just the damage of the Torid. I just ran, you know, a couple rounds in a cascade, and I was like, I have no buffs at all. We're gonna be playing Equinox, which is important. My Equinox build, I just don't do anything. I just run around. I just have a lot of survivability mods. on Equinox because my entire build is just fucking... It's just fucking Terrify and Maim. So if I just don't do that, then I am literally just a bunch of survivability mods, and I can just kind of run around and do whatever I want. So, you know, starting off the list with Torid Incarnon, I think, you know, the idea is also that it's easy to charge, and the normal fire, you can build into it with certain upgrades, and then it's actually a pretty fun swap. And then, yeah, I mean, like, it just has this level of just, like, upfront damage where it had no kind of like scaling. It was just fucking a zillion blast procs that are super high damage. Oh my god. And yeah, obviously because it's a beam weapon, the multi-shot for oh my god. The multi-shot for primary blight is just a damage multiplier for the beam, because, you know, that's, you don't get more beams, you just get more damage. But yeah, number 1 on the list, Torid Incarnon. Strun Incarnon is the first example of a shit ton of fire and slash. So the AoE has a specific upgrade where you can get a lot of status chance. Like, we're talking multiple guaranteed status chance procs. So I did realize, okay, so we're gonna do that on Strun. Like, it's a really good, you just dome something in the face, you dome a lot of enemies around you, and, you know, you're going to be getting that damage over, like a really high damage over time effect is nice. And that's a fun thing, is like, I'm not even using Shotgun Vendetta on Strun. This is a weird choice, but I'm using Primary Merciless, not only because it's an AoE and it would be kind of hard to proc Shotgun Vendetta sometimes, but also because I already have a really good multi-shot buff. I've got a couple of buffs for multi-shot that we'll talk about, but the main thing is, like, you already have a really good chance to proc stat. You're already getting a lot of status effects, you know, right? That's the main reason that I'm enjoying multi-shot so much. So I would rather buff the damage of those status effects versus just having a bunch more. You know, it was a weird choice that I've been trying to make, of, like, you know, I want to skew it so that, you know, I'm fine with a few less, as long as I'm getting a decent margin. I would rather those fire procs, or fire and slash, or blast, or whatever, I would rather have that do as much damage as possible. And, you know, I've been playing around with multi-shot in a couple different setups, so definitely fun, especially on shotguns. But yeah, number 2 on the list, Strun. 7 minutes in, I gotta move quicker. Number 3 on the list, Burston Incarnon. Now, this is a fun one. This one is also just Torid Incarnon, in the way that it's got the same categories. It's a laser. It benefits from multi-shot. It's actually just a full auto that's, like, pinpoint accurate, and it has an AoE. The AoE doesn't do a lot of damage, but definitely for, like, the bullet does a shit ton of damage. So it procs an insane amount of status. So, you know, just being able to clear your blast procs, like, it's weird. Like, this is a situation where I don't want a zillion fucking fire procs. I don't want fucking 250 slash procs, or I would rather have just a shit ton of blast procs just constantly clearing, because I mean, it's more consistent, but obviously it works a little bit better on Necromex, which is an important one. But, you know, Acolytes generally you can just nuke whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's a few situations where I would say, like, you know, something that's proccing a zillion status effects, like, I'm generally favoring blast. You're kind of seeing that on Vermisplicer, which is a kit gun beam weapon. You're seeing that on Boar Incarnon, which is a Incarnon beam weapon. But yeah, we got to move to number 4. So, you know, when we're talking about funky beam and blast, it'll be like a recurring theme. And this is from just a mod. I just have a Toxin mod, but this is it's a Toxin Riven. How would you rate the Mark 1 Braton without Incarnon? Hey man, I had to use that at one point when I was you ever go into a bounty and you're like, oh shit, I run out of ammo, and you swap to the Mark. You're like, oh right, I'm leveling the Mark 1 Braton. Oh, you ever been there? I was there once. I think I was there on stream a couple times. I was using, like, the Mark 1 Strun and shit. So that was a rough time period. So that's my take. Is there are some people who will be using it, but hey, I got a video coming out soon talking about some stuff like that. But yeah, we gotta move on to number 4 on the list, which is, of course, Nataruk. But this guy, oh my god, I love when the Mark 1 Braton. Nataruk, infinite punch through, infinite ammo, and it's a bow, so you can use longbow sharp shot. But what I actually have in here is primary crux with fire. Does it have built-in fire? I don't know if it's built-in fire, but I don't think it does. Oh my god, dude. Shout out Ice-T Peach for sending a game controller. I can actually see that little emoji, apparently. Oh my god. Oh my god, wait. How? Wait. That's a hunt. That says a hunt. Wait. Anyway, don't get too distracted, but, yeah, this is the same setup as Strun Incarnon. I don't want to freak out too much, but yeah, this is just, a really big, really high damage fire proc, and then just hunter munitions. And I have enjoyed messing around with, like, okay, you know, on certain shotguns, like the idea that you can just have 30% chance for slash proc on each pellet that procs crit is like kind of crazy. Just continue with the list. 100 diamonds. That was 100 diamonds. Oh my god, thank you. Shout out Ice-T Peach. But yeah, no, this is a very similar setup. Super high damage fire and slash procs. And once again, Chad, I hate to say it, number 5 on the list, the top 5. There you go. So 2 of them are just blast monsters, and then the rest of these guys are fire and slash, and that's of course Miter and Incarnon. The bullet obviously has a homing AoE. It'll just kind of bounce around the arena. But the bullet, when they get a direct hit, that shit has like a really nice chance to proc slash. So you can it just exists as it is. I don't think you need to mess with it too much. So you'll see it like that, and it's weird to recharge, but it has such a low capacity that you don't, like, each saw will do pretty well. Obviously you're shooting a fucking saw blade when you're charging it up, so you can have some issues there in terms of like projectile speed and shit. Yeah, number 5 on the list. And yeah, I had to decide, do I put 2 bows in the top 5 or do I put Paris in number 6 slot? So I felt like it was kind of better to put Miter, but similar setup where it just already does a shit. It's really effective just at deleting everything. Obviously Nataruk can't use oh, I guess that's why I put the bow thing over here. Here, delete this, because this guy can't use split flights, but Paris Incarnon can use split flights. So Paris Incarnon, which already has a base status chance buff, and then you also have, what is it? I don't even know what that mod is called. But yeah, there's like a special Orokin mod that you can put on Paris Prime. So you can, my setup, I mean, I rolled a crazy rune, but you can just keep it pretty similar. But oh my god, yeah, a lot of these are, I think there's only like 2 or 3 weapons on this list that I don't have Rivens for. So obviously, like, any weapon tier list is also like a Riven tier list. Like, any of the weapons that I'm talking about in the top 20 or the top 40, like, if you get a Riven for it and you just get a decent amount of Kuva, like, suddenly, yeah, that weapon is now the best weapon in the game. Like, I don't know what to, like, that was my love of Rivens back in the day when I still used to like unveil Rivens, and now I'm like, ooh, maybe I want a Riven for this weapon, and I can buy an unrolled Riven for like 20 plat, 30 plat. I'm like, come on, man, it's a good market right there. So yeah, like, you get a Riven for any of the weapons I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure you can build her. Obviously these are kit guns, Sporelacer, Vermisplicer, but yeah, keep moving. You'll have to watch this. I maybe have time for this, but just a zillion fucking arrows, and they're all just proccing. Well, they have hunter munitions, so that's 30%, but yeah, they have, I think it's, what is it, guaranteed at least 1 fire proc. But I had to use longbow sharp shot, so I am getting a crazy buff. But Acceltra Prime, number 7 on the list. Now we're moving into like the top 10. So Acceltra Prime, I have this one on the list because I think the normal Acceltra, while it is annoying to get, is like a very good weapon. And like, yeah, it's nice to have a single prime, just a normal prime. It's just, you know, when they released the Acceltra, it was a very good weapon, and then when Acceltra Prime came out, it was a very good weapon. And so I feel like I wanted to put one, but it is a very, very big love of mine. This is a weapon that does have innate viral. I do have viral on here just because you're shooting so many fucking bullets. And then yeah, it's just hunter munitions for a little bit of damage, and you're trying to stack as much damage as you can again, so you can kind of use stuff like more crit damage and stuff like that. So I've been thinking about looking at swapping stuff like that. So yeah, Acceltra Prime, in terms of like, it's just like such a classic. I remember, like, dude, and to have like and what I'm really saying is like the normal Acceltra, while I think it is a grind to get. Will this go on YouTube? Yep, this is live on YouTube right now. Yeah, I'll put time codes for all the builds and stuff. We'll go through and talk all these builds. I'll have to really speed run the builds, but yeah, Latron and Incarnon, woo, same setup, fire and slash, that's it. And yeah, oh my god, a bouncing orb. So I had to put it lower just because like these guys are similar. Obviously Strun just deals, it's just an AoE right there, but the Latron will like bounce around the arena. Oh my god, and you can dump that shit. 40 shots in the Incarnon form. Whew. But yeah, like this it just has so much crowd clearing potential that you can just deal a lot of damage to like a shit ton of enemies. And like, yeah, in most missions, that's what I mean. Like I'm not really out here doing level cap most of the time, but you know, if you're just burning a couple Netra cells, you're doing some Omnias, you can still do like 25 minutes in an Omnia, 50 minutes in an Omnia. Definitely like, I know it's like when you're closer to the round 15 and 20 mark, that's when they'll get, you know, in a Void Cascade, they'll be at level, you know, maybe 500, maybe they'll get a little bit higher, because 26 or 27, round 27 is like the level cap. So, you know, it kind of scales up pretty quick. But yeah, this guy just shreds. But whew. Boar Incarnon, a funky beam. I have it lower. It's a shotgun. I gotta tell you, man, like all these weapons, I feel like I had to put this one lower just because like you kind of get it with Torid, and like Torid will kind of always stand out. But do I think it's a bad weapon? Absolutely not. That's why I just had to put it on here, because it is one of those weapons that you can kind of just set up almost exactly as it is, and then just get a really big. I mean, for most gameplay, what I'm saying is like you're burning. Yo, funky beam. I like that. What are you talking about? So this is a top 20 list of the primary weapons in the game. So we're going to kind of burn through builds and stuff. So it's very on the rails. But yeah, Boar Incarnon, more of the same. Do I think it's bad? No, but it is just more of the same. And I had to put it on here. The only Tenet or Kuva weapon, Tenet Arca Plasmor. Oh my god. Babe. Straight up babe. With, of course, primary crux. So you're hoping for a really high damage fire proc, and that's it. That's generally what I use. Like against most trash mobs, you'll just kind of kill them instantly. But you got some good vibes. It's not too hard to land some headshots and proc primary proc. So top tier gamer. Oh, shout out Kyoi for following. Bet Becca, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I know. It sucks because like I know a lot of people are like, hey, can you show me this, and this build? And I'm like, Chad, I'm gonna be too slow when I'm not showing off anything else. We're 20 minutes in. Braton Incarnon. What do you really say? I mean, it is still a very strong Incarnon, but it is a different setup. So this guy is also a weapon that has viral. It does function pretty interestingly, because it is like Acceltra Prime, where it has like viral and hunter munitions, but then you also have fire on top of that, the innate fire on the AoE, and then also I think my Riven is like fire crit chance. So I have override so we can show off the normal setups, but Sybaris Incarnon is the GOAT in terms of like yeah, it's just essentially a burst. You can think of it as an auto burst. You can shoot it pretty fast, but it has guaranteed blast proc, so you can just add fire and then it'll proc all of the IPS, so you can just deal a shit ton of damage. And it's like pinpoint accurate, so it's like think of it like a full auto that you can run around and spam. The best of the best. Yeah, these are my favorite picks. You know, top 10 is very important to look at, because you know I've tried to put in a little bit of variety there, because it's almost all Incarnons. But oh, I didn't even mention, but like Nataruk. Nataruk is available from the new war, so if you're able to like burn through the new war, you can get access to like a very powerful weapon. And I don't even have a Riven for this. I never felt the need for a Riven for this, because I was just like, dude, I feel like Rivens for Nataruk will always be absurdly powerful. But yeah, that setup, that's a classic setup. So Braton Incarnon does have, you know, a lot of the same factors. It's got a decent AoE. It's got big damage on the AoE. So you're going to be dealing, you know, like a lot of damage over time effects. You're going to be getting built-in viral, obviously, so you can keep that active. Appreciate the 100 likes. I thank you. Thank you. That's Ice Tea Peach. Appreciate it. No Riven is needed for Nataruk. Yeah, exactly. Or what is good for them is they just want to clear high-level enemies. Yeah. So generally, my philosophy is that these weapons should be able to, you know, if you're in a cascade, they should be able to nuke a Thrax and then nuke everything around it. And generally, like, the weapons that do have that, like, game-breaking damage, they also, because of what they are in terms of, like, whether it's an Incarnon or just it's the fucking Nataruk, or, yeah, there's a couple of setups where it's just, like, it'll always kind of have this built-in, maxed out power, and then you can just add on to that with some, like, you know, some simple, like, single-target DPS buffs, and then now a weapon that already kind of nukes everything can now deal with Thrax, deal with Necromex, you know, when an Acolyte shows up. When a fucking Acolyte shows up, you pull up to that bitch with the Nataruk, deed is done. I mean, that's all you gotta say, but I gotta keep moving. 721. Sybaris, Sporelacer. Ooh, a kit gun. First kit gun. Battery operated kit gun, actually, so I can just always have infinite ammo, but that's a little bit of a secret here where, yeah, this guy is a AoE shotgun that I do have Blast on it. I think I have Blast and Hunter Munitions, and then I have Primary Merciless so that my Blast has more damage instead of having more multi-shot. So kind of a weird setup. I was trying to work it out whether I wanted to use, because I think I do have I can use Primary Blight, so I was thinking about using that, but it may be that I proc it too, so I can't remember why I didn't use Primary Blight, but generally, like, the AoE does a zillion damage. 7:32 p.m. It's 3:30. Oh my, in Germany? Oh my god, shout out IT Peach in Germany. Holy shit. That's the GOAT. We gotta keep moving. That means we got to move faster. We can at least talk about the builds, but yeah, a Vermisplicer. Ooh, another beam weapon. Yeah, chain beam. So these are all chain beams or like a beam with an AoE. But yeah, this is chain beam, chain beam, chain beam. There's another chain beam. This is like a beam shotgun. I don't know how to describe that one. But yeah, here we go. Vermisplicer. Woo. Battery operated. Yeah, I mean it's nice. It's a tongue. It shoots out a fucking leathery ass tongue, and then it deals a bunch of damage, and it's got all the IPS stats, so you get a bunch of buffs for you know, gun condition overload. So it's a very fun setup. But yeah, like you're gonna just for the test that we're gonna be using, it's gonna be pretty basic. So I'm glad that I'm doing a 2-hour stream that I can survive a little bit better. But yeah, like, dude, I gotta say that most of these weapons have some or a lot of, like, anti-aiming. I would say, like, Sybaris, you have to actually be, like, accurate with, but you just think of it like a full auto, and you can still, like, spray into crowds and just nuke everything. So a lot of these weapons are, like, super duper anti-aiming, but number 15 on the list is the Sporothrix. So this one is the only sniper. I felt like you know, you got to put one sniper on there. I couldn't decide, but this guy has 1% crit chance. But there is a weird situation that I end up in where I have way too many frames with Arcane Avenger. So kind of the GOAT, but this thing does just proc viral and heat and slash. What does Blight mean? Primary Blight is a primary arcane that needs 40 stacks. You need to proc Toxin 40 times, and then you get a big critical damage buff and multi-shot buff. So generally, like, the idea with Primary Blight versus Primary Merciless is that, you know, Primary Blight does give you 2 damage effects, but you know, like, I was trying to decide between them, basically, like 2 damage effects or just favoring all damage. So isn't the Latron also a snipe? Yeah. Well, it's you could call it that. I guess they would call it like a DMR. I think it's like a semi-auto. normally. But this one has a sniper scope, so it has the shot bonus, it has the shot combo. Blight, yeah. Most people knew that, yeah. Yeah, it was I think that was like the Deviri, Return to Deviri shit. I think that was like Kullervo. Sporothrix made at the moment. 1 million gas cloud damage. Oh, dude, that's good. S'more's mid at the moment, yeah. No, I think I couldn't decide like which sniper I wanted to put on the list because, like, dude, I mean, I have a weird setup where I have like built-in crit buffs. Doesn't Phantasma have infinite punch? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's got like a short range, and you can just wipe everything in range. So, you know, I have blast on it for a reason. Yeah, like you just obviously you're proccing a zillion status effects. Like, that's the thing. It's a funky beam, but yeah, you generally, like, it has a specific, you can set the beam range. Like, you put mods for the beam range, but like I do just love this weapon running forward into a crowd. I gotta say, shout out Loot Goblin for following you. It's the GOAT. But that's what I mean is, like, obviously there's some heavy hitters at the top, but, like, by all means, I think all of these weapons are insanely strong, and, you know, you kind of have to make a ranking of them. But if I was to put any sniper on the list, right, I have to put it low. But generally, you know, like Phantasma, yeah, obviously it's pretty good with like increased beam length, but, you know, I was generally like, okay, I get the idea, but you know, I love blast on beam weapons at this point. Tenet Glaxion, another crazy example, but generally these are like more of like, I don't know how to describe them. Like, when I was going through, I was like, I could kind of feel a little bit of struggle early on. So you know, when we talk about the top of the list, like, generally they are just so brainless. But yeah, by all means, I'm like, you want to include some important ones on the list, you know. I wanted to include Bubonico on the list, but yeah, generally, like, the top 10 has to have some, like, level of prestige, but generally I want to include a lot of fun, interesting ones, and yeah, the power of them is kind of just all built in. But generally, like, I'm not taking them into anything, you know. Even if I'm taking them into an elite Archimedia, all of these guys generally are just you know, they're gonna, oh my god. So yeah, it's kind of the bottom of the list. Like, Kuva Bramma and Kuva Zarr are like two sides of the same coin. It's like you know, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. One has more ammo, but you have to do like round reloading. But yeah, Kuva Bramma is a bow that has like only 5 shots, but boy is it fun. So I do prefer Bramma, but oof. Yeah, and then I put Bubonico at the bottom. I think a lot of people love Bubonico, but that shotgun with like the level of, I don't know how much punch through it has, but dude, it's just like, so the normal fire. I do have like a little bit of a buff for the alt fire if I want to like run around and nuke a bunch of shit, but generally, like, if I need to just look at something and it dies, then I can do that. So yeah, there's the list. I'll tab over. It's 7:28. We'll see how quickly I can burn through this, but I have separate loadouts. But this is Torid Incarnon 7:30, so it took me a half hour to do this. So we'll see how many rounds I can play. But first upgrade, Final Fusillade. This is a fun one. So this is like incentivizing you to actually use all of your ammo and just kind of stay in your normal form for just a little bit longer. It's fun to use. I like the fucking gas clouds. That shit's fun. Because, of course, reload from empty, lingering damage field duration doubles on first shot. So you get 5 shots in the mag, you reload that bitch, and then the next time you need to reload, then your gas cloud just does a zillion damage. And then, of course, base crit chance. Yeah, I think it was mainly just because I don't really care about status chance at all. It's a beam weapon. I'm proccing enough status. But let's go down to the actual. This gas cloud actually does a lot of damage, but the secret is here. No, the secret is here. And this is just damage multi-shot. So you could just replace this with, hey, you could replace it with hammer shot. How about that? Or you could replace it with Assassin, Rifle Elementalist, or you could replace it with fucking Bane. Is it Bane? Yeah, Bane of Corporate. Look, I don't have any of the primed. Yeah, you could replace it with the Bane mod, so that's a freebie, man. That's a Riven, that's just a freebie. That is damage multi-shot. So that is essentially just a double buff, and you can see the stat spread, but yeah, Rifle Elementalist is a separate damage effect. Shout out Icy Peach for following, appreciate it. But yeah, status damage is a separate multiplier. It acts differently, so like I'm not getting diminishing returns from both damage from Serration and Galvanized Aptitude, and also multi-shot from Galvanized Chamber and Primary Blight. So that is an interesting setup, but yeah, that's a criminal fucking Riven, so you can look at the stats. It just has so much base damage that I'm like, oh my god. Next up on the list, Strun Incarnon. I think I might just do a build section, and then you guys can like scrub through and I'll show each one off, but woof, Blazing Barrel, on firing, +5 base multi-shot, stacks up to 5 times. Oh my god. Shout out, wait, what is that? Josh Galactic Republic. Oh, that's sick. I see that. I had to read it for a second. 575 likes. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. There's number 1. Yeah, multi-shot buff. That's what I'm talking about. You're getting a lot of multi-shot buffs. Is this... I think this is also for the... Yeah, it should also be. On target... Oh, that's fucking... No, I don't care. We're taking reload speed. I think it's round reloaded, but it's still pretty fast. And this is the one. Increase base status. Oh my god. Increase base status by 136% for Incarnon form. That shit's game over. Now what is this? Oh my god. Multi-shot damage status chance. So once again, this is just a freebie. Damn, that's a lot of status chance. So you could put in... What could you put in? I would say you would probably want to... With that high... Oh, you don't have access to that stat. I was like, yep. Clock that. Well, I guess you would replace it with... Do I have it? Yeah, Shotgun Elementalist. That's a pretty good take, but you're getting way lower stats. But you're still getting... yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're still getting guaranteed heat proc and a guaranteed slash proc. So, yeah, that's... You know, you get a little bit of blast. What's the chance for blast? 31% blast. Ah, unfortunate. But yeah, double. You get Scattering Inferno, Blaze, and then Sweeping Serration. So it's 120 and 120. So these guys are both skewed to like the same margins, and that is a fun number. So you can rock with that. Shotgun Elementalist is a choice. You could also put in, obviously like a you could put in a faction damage mod. You could put in... Oh. What would I say? What's the other one? Oh, you could just put in... What's the one that reduces your accuracy? Vicious Spread. Oh, I don't have enough points. I don't want to say anything about Vicious Spread. But yeah, you could put in Vicious Spread if you want. If you want to just more damage. Because it'll, you know, damage will do, affect the damage to the bullet, and then also the damage to the heat stack and the slash stack. But yeah, let's just look at the Riven. 174% chance for slash, and 189% chance for heat. So still a 47% chance for 47% chance for blast out here. And then also the Vigilante bonus, which is at 25% for Equinox. So we're getting a 5% boost to the Vigilante bonus because of course we have Vigilante Vigor. But let's Strun Incarnon. Just an AoE that deals a zillion damage, and then you just stand there for a second, and then yeah, you can shoot. Maybe you shoot one less bullet, but it's kind of a goofy situation. Anyway, that's Strun Incarnon. Next up on the list, Burston Incarnon. Just chill out. Where is this guy? I know he's high. Yeah, he's right here. All right. Yeah, I think both of these I didn't really care about. With armor over 450, like you could take whatever you want. Neither of them I'm really using. Negative recoil is actually pretty poggers. Like you can laser with the normal fire. It's so easy. And then here we go, base crit chance. Once again, you can see the numbers. That's it. You'll get the base numbers. The Riven is criminal, but this is toxin damage. That is just a toxin mod, so you'll put this in, you'll use Primary Blight, but unfortunately it's only 150. You can see what the Riven has, so I guess you retain the status chance, but yeah, there you go. So not necessarily as criminal, but you do just have the bullet doing a zillion damage. So 6,000 damage with a 16 fire rate. That's 16 shots a second versus 28 when my companion is alive. So that's also a buff, but that's a built-in buff that I have on everything, so I'm fine with using that. But yeah, you got to talk about the Riven. Status chance, toxin, crit chance. It's mainly the crit chance, especially on a weapon like this. Over 200 is criminal. Guaranteed heat and guaranteed slash is already super powerful though, because both are yep, exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like I've always tried to incentivize people to, like, you know, I'm gonna tell you, okay, here, swap it with this, swap it with this, swap it with this. How dare you put Bubonico in F tier? Oh, chat, did I put it in F tier? No, I did not. No, I did not. Unfortunately, it was the bottom of the top 20. But you know, I have a graphic for an A, a B, and an F. And that's for a specific reason, chat. But it is the bottom of the top 20. It is still the top 20, so it's still technically in what I would call S tier. So, yeah, the very, very high damage setup. You can just, I mean, you shoot so often, dude. It is like more than a beam weapon. I don't want to say anything about that, but Nataruk, yeah, Nataruk in a weird spot, but no Riven. Wrong polarities, classic wrong polarities. But I've been thinking about swapping this with just using speed trigger, just getting it a little bit faster, because you know, when I didn't have a companion, I felt that shit. So yeah, you're getting yeah, I mean, it's 48% chance for heat, so it's still pretty low, but you're going to be adding primary crux onto that, so you can see you're skewing the heat damage by 2 mods, so you kind of need that buff. But yeah, kind of a similar setup, just a bullet that deals a zillion damage, and then you can just proc really high, fucking just nuking everything. You got an extra vigilante supplies? I do not think so. I think I bought an extra so that I can have an unranked vigilante supplies, so that I could throw it on like Incarnons and then still have that extra vigilante bonus, because that's what I do now. Is I needed to save a mod on my companion, so I have to use vigilante supplies now on a lot of weapons. But next up is Miter Incarnon. This is a crazy one. we need to move over here. What is this? Yeah, this is again just a freebie. So this is heavy caliber. This can get replaced with a faction damage, like a primed faction damage mod. But this is also, oh my god, you got a lot of free slots. Yeah, 126. Look at that, way lower stats. So you have some openings here. I don't know what you would put in here. I already have hammer shot. I'm not really thinking. You could put in elementalist. I would say that's probably what you should do, is put in elementalist. Just because you will look at the stats, and you've got, you know, 50% heat, 58% slash, so that's the bullet, and then the AoE is all heat. So yeah, you're gonna get quite a bit of heat procs. But that is actually interesting, the fact that you'll get guaranteed heat procs. I mean, it's like, oh wait, is it oh, what the sorry, I'm just like looking at how the stat spread is different, but like the heat damage doesn't change. I'm like, so I don't know what's going on, man. But yeah, you could probably, I would say, put in elementalist, and then this can be replaced with a faction damage mod. So this is what I mean. Like, you could potentially put in, if you want, you could put in hunter munitions as well, get some more slash procs. I don't think that's a terrible idea, just because it's like, it is just a bullet that deals a zillion damage. But I don't know, man. That's got me thinking. I will say I do just enjoy a lot of heat procs, but yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. Yeah, multi-shot crit. Oh my god, yeah. These are crazy weapons, but yeah, like a lot of the mods are kind of interchangeable, and as you know, if you're preferring to swap for different factions, then you can do that too. But generally, I only have like one setup, and that's it. Opinions on Titania. Mainly, is she viable outside of her speed? Oh yeah, I think so. My favorite ability is Lantern, her third ability, which will just like pacify enemies in a radius. And then you can like add on to that. Shout out, would that be like Lore Chubby? The one or Chubby? Any Warframe and weapon can made viable. Yeah. But I do love Lantern on Titania. But yeah, keep moving. Pretty good time so far. Paris Incarnon is up next. Scrolling a little bit further down the list. Obviously, I'm sorting by usage, so you know this weapon is a little bit less used. This is a fun one. So, with sprint speed 1.2 or higher, plus 80% fire rate. So there is currently only one frame where if you use Amalgam Serration, he's not fast enough, and that frame is Corvex. But I think when Corvex Prime comes out, he will be fast enough. So I'm pretty sure like normal Atlas and normal Corvex are the same speed. But yeah, you can basically always have this buff active just by using Amalgam Serration. On punch through hit, plus 40% fire rate for 6 seconds. Another fire rate buff. That is insanely goated. And then of course, increase base status chance by 60%. Another criminal take, 80% base status. With, of course, you're seeing it again. What is that? Was that heat damage you see? Yeah, this is heat and crit damage. That's it. So, I don't think I need to keep that. Yeah, 194. So you're close. You could skew it a little bit more if you wanted to, but I would say you could... I would say you would still probably want to put in, like, Rifle Elementalist or put in, like, a damage mod. Like, put in this and just make the heat procs deal more damage. Because, yeah, 194 is still very close to 200. Obviously, with my setup, it is 200. It's 201 and 15. Just barely over guaranteed 2 heat procs. So, that's a criminal fucking Riven. But, yeah, you're seeing it. It's still split flights, longbow sharp shot. So, you're getting a massive damage buff. And then longbow sharp shot is actually multiplying heavy caliber and amalgam serration. It's actually doing a kind of a tricky number, a big number with that shit. So, so much fun. Like, insanely goofy, really strong, and just like silly. And I don't know how to describe it. What Incarnons are in the circuit right now? Torid. Oh, that's pretty goated for a couple of hours. Oh, nice. Appreciate Mac DeMarco lover. That's sick. I love that. Oh wait, I'm missing it. Hang on. Republic Gaming Fair, but I'm just not sure. Do you have a Grendel set? A Grendel set? Or any Prime sets? I do have a Discord available. And if you join the Discord, then you will be entered into in the monthly raffle. And you could win one of the 16 Prime Warframe sets that I have up for grabs every single month. Sometimes the number changes, but currently I think it's 16 or 15 or something. So I think it's still 16. I still have 16 unique Prime frames available. But yeah, there's the build. The Riven, of course, heat and crit damage. This weapon loves crit damage. This weapon just... Oh my god, it deals too much. I don't know how to describe it, man. You feel like a god. It's beyond God Simulator. Very silly, but still number 6 on the list, which is kind of crazy. But, you know, it has its downsides of being a bow and needing to be recharged quite a bit, so I feel it. Yeah, we're safe. Acceltra Prime is next up. It is nice. I haven't done this in a while, just like a straight build rush. I don't know how to describe it. Where the fuck? He is in the top of the list. Yeah, he's right there. All right. Acceltra Prime, a classic, and this is just a cold mod. It's cold and crit damage, and it's a pretty low amount of crit damage, but we do love it. So this is just viral with hunter munitions. So, you know, pretty low status chance overall. So hunter munitions is actually going to be pretty nice, and it's very easy to dome somebody in the face with both the bullet and the AoE. So you can get some good numbers. The ratio is actually pretty decent. Like the AoE doesn't lose very much damage, and I don't know what the fall off is. Is there any fall off? Where's the fucking... Yeah, I'm telling you, 5 meter AoE, and you're losing like maybe 20% damage, 30% damage. That's pretty gamer. I am once again just getting a bunch of damage in here. Heavy caliber, primary merciless, but I love speeding up the reload speed. 1.2 reload, and then you get a bonus reload speed when you're sprinting. So, very easy to dump. I gotta tell you, man. Very fun. Oh, and then the Riven. Did I show the Riven? Yeah, cold crit damage. 9.6 crit multiplier. I don't care about how much. I don't care about how much viral I'm proccing. I shoot a zillion bullets, so I'm pretty much fine. But yeah, keep moving. Still safe. I think we're making pretty good time, but most of these builds are pretty straightforward. Like, this is just an AoE. You just shoot a zillion bullets, and they have a bunch of AoEs. But speaking right about that, let's talk about Latron Incarnon. This is number 8 on the list. Increased base damage. This one is actually on puncture status effect, bonus to multi-shot. That is insanely goated. You should be fine in terms of at least proccing a few stacks of puncture. So base mag capacity, you've got what, negative zoom and negative recoil. I don't think it's the most inaccurate. I think it doesn't have a terrible recoil. It is just like a semi-auto. So is this semi? This is also semi. I wonder if you can use cannonade. That would be interesting. Sometimes I have to remember and check if you can actually use that, because that is really broken if you can. Anyway, base crit chance by 24% and base crit damage. So this is just classic setup, dealing a zillion damage. Now what is this? Okay, shall we see? I'm not seeing it. I think they know. Yeah, I don't think you're getting it. Unfortunately, you're not getting over 300% crit chance. You're only getting over 200% crit chance. Oh, whoa, way less damage too. Holy shit, what's the Riven? Yeah, damage, multi-shot, crit chance. Ah, I see. Ah. So you would put in... Probably you could put in heavy caliber. What is the... Yeah, the stat spread doesn't really change, so... You're still doing pretty good on that. You got a good ratio of fire procs, so they're kind of even. So yeah, I would say you would probably just want to put in a shit ton of damage. I mean, you're losing out on a lot of multi-shot, but... Well, I'm saying that because, what, you're using a Riven, but... Does this work on the fucking Incarnon? 20% bonus damage on next shot for 2 seconds. Stacks up to 20 times. Oh, okay, I see. Alright. Very cool, but yeah, I would say I would probably just put in damage. Obviously, I have the wrong polarity, so I can't do that, but yeah, you're still getting a zillion damage, but that is unfortunate. This puts it in like fucking... This is like a Acceltra territory. I mean, it's got different stat spread. This guy doesn't have the double 60-60, so it's got a, I guess, a very similar loadout, but yeah, this Riven is just criminal. 300% crit chance. A lot of multi-shot. A lot. And with the multi-shot buff, yeah, it's that's an ancient Riven, so there you go. That's number 8 on the list. Number 9 on the list, Boar Incarnon. Ooh, on reload from empty. This one is nice. It does just stay forever. Do you have a Sporothrix? Yeah, I think I bought most of those parts, actually. Is Torid still viable with it? Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think just the fact that, you know, it's a beam weapon, so you can use primary blight, and it has built-in toxin damage, so that means you can do, like, the blast plus blight combo. Like, obviously, like, yeah, the list is, like, a Riven list, but, no, I think all these weapons generally, like, stand where they are, even without the Riven, just because, like, you know, if you add Rivens to all of them, then you can have a list that way, and if you remove the Rivens from all of them, I honestly don't think the list would change that much. Like, a lot of it is, some of these guys don't even have Rivens, but it's like basic setups. This one is crazy though. Increase accuracy by 50%. It just means that you hit more heads. 1,500 likes, thank you. You just hit more heads. You just charge it faster. So sick. And then this is just a massive crit chance and crit damage buff. That is a major win. So you can see very similar setup. I'm using a mod, or I'm coming over here. What is this? This is cold, so you just put in a cold mod. I should have enough points for that. So yeah, this is a very interesting situation where I have a Riven that is saving a mod slot. So yeah, you're losing some damage, you're losing some crit chance, but generally, like, I think a lot of these weapons just will always have so much power. But yeah, this is cold and crit chance, and that's kind of it. I don't know if I re-rolled this recently, but this is Blaze and cold as always. So this is you know, Blaze is gonna also buff the damage of the AoE of the blast proc. So because you have a beam weapon, it means that when you have a tick rate of 6.4, so you tick 6 times, you know, 6.5 times a second, with 57% status. So you're proccing a lot of blast, and then that also means you're clearing a lot of blasts. So, you know, Blaze very strong on shotgun. So you're not really caring that much about elemental damage. You're more caring about like damage here, damage from gun condition overload, you know, all the crit stats. You know, you're getting primary blight, and then also multi-shot is very nice. So primary blight on multi-shot just means you're buffing the beam weapon. Any multi-shot buff you get, you just think of that as you take that number and then you multiply the number, the amount of damage you're dealing. So that works for the AoE too. So there's Boar Incarnon, number 9. Number 10 on the list, Tenet, Arca, Plasmor. And this is why I'm only doing these once a week, because yeah, this is like gonna be like an hour and 20 minutes of me just doing builds. I scrolled way too far as always, but Tenet, Arca, Plasmor. Now this is one where the Riven does potentially change a lot of stuff, but I think you can keep this. Here, what do I have in here? This? And you still have a pretty decent stat spread. Yeah. You're still favoring it pretty well. So what I've currently got set up is primary crux alongside a shit ton of heat damage. Now in this situation, when I'm using Blaze for heat damage, then that's also buffing the damage of the heat stack. Like when I get a heat proc, it's also dealing a zillion damage. Of course it is, yeah. No, I generally, like, what I did is I just went in, I tried to do it without any type of priming or stuff like that, and I tried to test it, and I was like, no, I think it still exists as is. But yeah, the gun still just deals a zillion damage. Like this shit is a lot of fun to use. And you know, I wanted to put a Tenet or a Kuva weapon, and you know, I feel like honestly a lot of the Tenet weapons are way stronger than the Kuva weapons. So you know, I have a couple of Kuva weapons on here, but it's more that I have a lot of weird setups on them, and that I think that the power those setups offer is crazy. But this is a strange fucking Riven. This is toxin heat damage. So it's just a similar setup, but it skews me more towards heat. But it gives me almost the same ratio. I think it gives me 37 versus 31. So it's like I have lower status overall, but I have like the same weight towards heat, but I just deal more heat. It's like the weirdest fucking... You get a Riven like this at 94 rerolls, you're like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? Hyper raw damage, yeah. Yeah, just a shit ton of damage on a heat proc with primary crux. I'm just like, dude. Especially just a fucking shotgun. You could potentially put in galvanized savvy. I could definitely slot this in, but I don't know, man. The bullet also just deals a zillion damage. I'm like, I kind of just want a fire proc that just like nukes them for everything. But yeah, that's number 10 on the list. Number 11 on the list, Braton, Incarnon. Right here. This is a weird one. I don't actually choose this. Multi-shot consumes ammo directly. I don't choose this. It just it means that when you use the Incarnon, it dumps your whole... You use it like, yeah, obviously way faster. So that sucked. So I do have to take the one that I basically never take advantage of. But yeah, I did end up taking this accuracy recoil for the Incarnon because I did notice that it had some little bit of kick. So I was feeling it a little bit, but... yeah, I think we're safe, but yeah, I mean, a lot of what you got set up right now is just, in the end, the list kind of exists as it is, but what I've said is like, I encourage everyone to just think about their playstyle and how it plays into all this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, dude, these are all just damage buffs. Like, you can see that I'm just trying to favor, in a lot of situations, favor a shit ton of damage, and that's kind of it. So, this is crit chance heat. So that's a weird setup. But yeah, you can see you have a little bit of a lower spread, 144 on the crit chance. So I would say I would probably just put in thermite rounds, and then you could skew it back towards. So you've got hunter munitions, you know, you got a 48% chance to proc heat. So you're still favoring it pretty well. So putting Crux on there, yeah, so that's the crazy setup. Like, you can actually dome people in the face pretty easily, and, you know, it takes 10 headshots, and then you get that insane heat stack, and then, I mean, yeah, it's just, God, 241 crit chance. This shit is fucking crazy, but, yeah, in the end, it's just a similar setup where it's actually, yeah, viral, heat, and slash all at once, so get a lot of damage over time effects that just kind of add on to it. So, crit chance and heat, yeah, I gotta say. It's kind of too much fun, but yeah, this is a weapon. I don't think I'll be able to play this one. Yeah, we're moving a little bit too slow for me to be able to play number 11 on the list. But yeah, the setup is just like, like, it's so hard to rank some of these weapons. I wanted to do a list that includes a bunch of weird, like, weapons that have a level of power that is, like, so silly that you have to include them. And then we have some other ones that are a lot more interesting. So we're looking at number 12 on the list, which is Sybaris Incarnon. Now, this is a weird one. Oh, let's get out of here. So this one has a guaranteed blast proc on the Incarnon form. On firing, plus 5% multi-shot, stacks up to 10 times. That's insane. On consecutive weak point hits. Oh, yeah, I'm not really taking advantage of that. Recoil is not, like, mandatory, but I kind of just have to have it at this point. For charging it, for using the alt fire as well. And then this is a weird one. So, you know, you're actually not getting crazy stats. 5% crit chance, 10% status chance. So let's take a quick peek and we'll see. Yeah, it's basically, it's nice to have the full IPS, but I just added Hellfire in there, so we're getting some heat damage in there. But yeah, you have a guaranteed blast proc on the Incarnon form, so you're just stacking a bunch of damage, you're just stacking Rifle Elementalist, because obviously I am proccing a bunch of blast as well, so like Rifle Elementalist on blast is insanely strong, because you're clearing this shit so often. So, you know, when you talk about multi-shot and shit like that, so very similar setup to like some other stuff you may see potentially, but yeah, like the idea of maximizing both blast as a damage status effect and then also like fire as a damage status effect, like comboing a lot of those together and getting the ability to is like very lucky. It shows up on like unique effects and stuff like that, so I try to take advantage of it where I can. I'm excited. I messed around with some Kuva weapons as well, so you know, I'm trying to work on some other ideas, but that was number 12 on the list, Sybaris Incarnon. Number 13 on the list is Sporelacer. I have two versions. This is the raw damage version. I think the main reason that I didn't have this is because it's insanely low status, so you're not actually getting a good chance to proc Toxin. So I'm just using Primary Merciless and then also Shotgun Elementalist because I'm using Blast. So, you know, when you're talking about a shotgun AoE, but yeah, this guy is cold damage, so you would just have to put in a cold mod, unfortunately. There you go. So there's your cold mod. You know, you're sacrificing a bunch of damage, but I don't think it's the worst. You could potentially put in Vicious Spread as well. So this would buff the damage of the bullet and the damage of the blast damage, like the blast tick. So it is, you know, you're talking about diminishing returns and stuff at that point. But yeah, I do love it. You're getting Primary Merciless on top of that, so you could swap those out. But generally, I'm trying to favor, you know, a lot of damaging effects. But yeah, when I have Blast, I do enjoy Shotgun Elementalist because you are obviously clearing your blast procs pretty often. So I think that's a fun choice. So I've thought about using that on like Kuva Zarr and Kuva Bramma, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit. There's Sporelacer. Number 14 on the list, Vermisplicer up here. Slimy Grabulon 2. Yeah, this Riven is a cold mod. Wow, look at that. Look how lucky I'm getting. I gotta tell you, whatever you can get on those types of mods, but honestly, dude, it's a beam weapon, first of all. So in terms of like what you're like, the type of damage that you're gonna get out of this, like you do have full IPS and Toxin, so you're gonna have 4 status effects on top of Blast, which will add on to the gun condition overload. So that's always nice. We love a beam weapon with a bunch of status effects on it, just a bunch of built-in damage effects, because you're gonna proc all of them. You know, like when I talk about Tenet Flux Rifle, like you whatever you can proc, boy, you'll proc it. You could have negative a zillion status duration and you'd be fine. So you're getting a lot of damage with primary blight as well. Obviously the multi-shot bonus and the crit damage bonus, so you do have to keep that in mind as well. So as a beam weapon, insanely strong. But you know, when we talk about the lengths at which beam weapons go, there's a pretty crazy margin. So that is number 14 on the list, Vermisplicer. Did I talk about the I don't think I talked about the Rivet. Yeah, this is just cold multi-shot. So unfortunately it's not the hugest buff, but obviously like multi-shot is just another damage. It's just another multiplier. So for a beam weapon that has blast ticks, like you can kind of make it work. So not the craziest thing. Shout out Chris. Hey man, can you share Inaros fashion after all this? Yeah, definitely. Oh, I can share it right now. Here, watch this. Where did that guy land? He's higher on the list. Here, I'll just let you sit on it. I'll explain it later, but you can look at Inaros if you want. So that was number 14 on the list. Number 15 on the list is the Sporothrix. Now this one I think is kind of contentious, but I wanted to put a sniper on here. Obviously the only time that you'd be forced to use a sniper is like if you're doing a sortie. Thing that sucks, you got 1% crit chance, but you got a decent crit multiplier. So if you use Arcane Avenger, if you got a crit buff, then you're chilling. So this is just, once again, a bunch of damaging effects. So you look at the stat spread, 63% chance for heat, 39% chance for slash. So crazy margin, getting more damage out of this. Obviously gun condition overload. You're getting viral on the AoE, which has similar stat spread. So you're proccing pretty decent amount of, you'll see it. I mean, you'll have to kind of watch it and see, but yeah, the way that this works, the way that the AoE works on this weapon is crazy. Yeah, I am using primary crux, so I'm getting even more status chance on top of that. But you don't really have a huge amount of choice. I mean, you could use something else, but I think generally, like with the amount of status that you can get, you can pump these margins like crazy and get like a zillion status effects going. So, so much fun. But yeah, you're kind of seeing it. The bullet just does a zillion damage. But yeah, I don't have a Riven for it. But yeah, the basic idea is like if you get Arcane Avenger, if you have Arcane Avenger on something, if you have a crit buff, then it's insanely strong. Otherwise, it's still like pretty good, but I don't think it's like the most absurdly broken. But generally, I have a buff. It's not always Arcane Avenger, but most of my frames have some kind of way to make enemies take more damage. So I think that's a pretty important thing, is that generally like most of my setups will get super maxed out by at least one thing from my Warframe kit. So let's talk about this next one, which is Shotgun Vendetta. The only time you will see Shotgun Vendetta on this list. Maybe, one other time. Never mind, one other time. But this is just damage crit chance. So, you could replace this. You might get some value. You could actually, I would say you'd probably want to put in Shotgun Elementalist. So on the beam weapon, you got a 33% crit chance. So pretty low still, but yeah, it's a shotgun beam. It has a lot of base multi-shot. It has a base multi-shot of 6. So it's a very criminal weapon. You're just using the beam weapon, does a zillion fucking damage. You're getting the multi-shot bonus, which is of course on a beam weapon that's just means more damage. And yeah, Shotgun Elementalist on blast will trigger all the time, so that's a big fat buff right there. So that's an easy swap, I would say, and then you can get a lot of power out of it. But this is, of course, damage crit chance, so, you know, damage not doing the same, I would say, as Shotgun Elementalist, but you got to get the Riven in there. It's a weird Riven. 5 rerolls, though. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is a freebie, so you could put anything in there. But yeah, there you go. Phantasma Prime. Number 17 on the list, Tenet Glaxion. Another funky beam weapon. This guy is pretty high on the list. I know that. Yeah, right here. Okay. So this Riven is... Oh, wow. So that's just a freebie. I already have basically all the stuff. So you could put in heavy caliber. You could put in a faction damage. All this stuff will kind of do similar margins. But yeah, this is a crit damage, crit chance Riven. So it's not the most crazy, but you do get some insane margins. But look at this. Just 100% blast. That means you're getting guaranteed 16 blast ticks a second. So yeah, Rifle Elementalist is very useful in this situation on top of Galvanized Aptitude. So definitely like getting a faction damage would be a pretty valuable boost in here just because you can spread out the buffs. But yeah, like I mean, dude, it's a chain beam. It has a weird setup with punch through. So I've used punch through here. You're just adding more damage on top of that with Primary Merciless, which does actually speed your reload speed up a bit, but you can see I have a negative reload speed, so yeah, this has a Riven Disposition of 1, so you can see why. So that was number 17 on the list. Number 18 on the list is Kuva Bramma. Ooh, we're getting close. Dude, we might have like 50 minutes of gameplay, actually. Kuva Bramma. I have Kuva Bramma above Kuva Zarr, which is potentially sacrilegious. Holy shit, that's just a freebie. So that's a... I would say, yeah, I would be rocking heavy caliber in that slot. So, just getting a shit ton of damage. Once again, blah, blah, blah. Same story as before. You replace it with faction damage. Replace it with, whatchamacallit? Replace it with Elementalist buff. But, yeah, there's a couple setups you can do. But it is just an AoE that deals a zillion damage and only deals blast damage. 21% status. Yeah, I don't think you're too worried about it. It is funny, like the arrow does a lot of damage too, so you can dome somebody in the face, and it's kind of silly, but obviously this guy has such low ammo capacity that like you may not take advantage of it very well in like a bunch of single target situations, so keep that in mind. But crit damage, multi-shot damage. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's a weird setup. Multi-shot is kind of fun on this weapon because that is going to help with a little bit. It's going to alleviate just a little bit, so we love that shit. Trying to speed it up a lot so you actually just charge the bow insanely fast. It's really easy to use. And as long as you don't shoot yourself in the fucking face, then you're a maxed out gamer. Anyway, Kuva Zarr, which is actually right here, right next to it. Okay. Almost the same setup. But this is a freebie, so this one I would put in... Wow, look at that. Look how crazy that is. So look how interesting the different loadouts end up. They have such similarities. You know what I mean? They really do. Kuva Zarr and Kuva Bramma, they're pretty fun. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong effect. There you go. There's the damage. That's the correct number. Way higher status effect, or status chance, which is pretty nice. That's not bad. But yeah, you're seeing it. Like, lots of blast. This is multi-shot crit damage, so unfortunately not as criminal. It's giving me an extra mag size, which is pretty cool, but yeah, it's a weird setup. Very, very similar, but you know, multi-shot on a weapon like this that, you know, deals a zillion damage is not the worst thing in the world. But yes, we are at the bottom, number 20 on the list. And then we are actually going to play Warframe. Is that crazy, guys? The streams are long enough that I fully have time. Where's fucking Bubonico? I swear to God, he must be chilling pretty high. Yeah, way up here. Ooh, right next to it. Damn. Yeah, that's just a cold mod once again. Oh, I already have the setup. Look at that. Done. Nice and easy. It's pretty crazy. Like you have a bad margin, but it's still 50% chance for heat on the AoE. 9% crit chance again. This is again a situation where I have Arcane Avenger on so many setups that it actually does come in clutch. But yeah, you can see just getting a lot of damage. You got an open slot, so you can put in anything. Obviously, it's battery operated. This is what I should have mentioned. Like, this is battery operated, so it's very easy to use. Kind of streamlined, very simple. This is cold damage and status duration, so it's a little bit weird. Does this guy proc impact? Yeah, I guess it doesn't proc impact anymore, but yeah, it's still mostly slash and puncture. So you're getting a lot of heat damage, and that's going to be where a lot of the power is going to come from. But this is, of course, again, Blaze, so kind of a similar setup. This is silent battery, so you know, a shotgun that is silent, or does this count as a shot? Yeah, it has shotgun mods. Yeah, so this would count as a shotgun. So there you go, a shotgun that's silent. So if you're ever curious, and chat, I guess all I can say is we're done. We did the whole list. That is 20 builds. That took me 40 minutes. So yeah, the talking about the tier list was 30 minutes, and then doing the builds was 40 minutes. So not the worst thing in the world. So appreciate everybody for stopping by and listening. You may have to scrub through a lot of stuff, but I don't really want to put a zillion time codes for every single build, so you can kind of just scroll through the build section, and it'll end up at the different margins. So the frame I'm going to be using for this test is, of course, Equinox Prime with 0 buffs. Just going to be running around swinging or shooting my gun. I already talked about the build. We are going to be doing this as it should be with the Riven, and we have an hour-long level 200 conjunction Omnia. We have literally been spoiled. Rebecca has spoiled me once again. I'm going to take a big drink of water. And we're just going to show it off. 5 minutes. We're going to do 5 minutes at a time with each frame. Woo! What the fuck? A glaive? Anyway, don't get too distracted. I am using a katana, or a nikana. I am using that for the reason of to not use a melee weapon, but yeah, these primary weapons, they really do not need any type of backup. So we're going to dump the mag first of all, then we're going to swap to this form. Then we're going to start playing. Alright, chat. Get this silly little guy out of here. Alright. Buffs are good. I'm going to try my best to bullet jump, double jump, and roll so that I can keep my buff going. And we're just going to run around. I'm actually going to be very sparse because you're going to notice that I may potentially dump my ammo a little too much. But yeah, these guys are a little bit trash at this point. And yeah, there's a reason that this weapon sits where it does, because for a lot of the gameplay that you're going to play, this is what you're going to see. You're actually trying to be very gentle. You don't want to kill too quickly, so take your time. Nice and simple. You can see I'm kind of like wasting my ammo, killing singular enemies. Okay, nice. Dump the mag. There you go. Fully recharged, and there you go. If you've ever wondered, you know, you're like, huh, what makes the Torid so strong? Well, I gotta say, the power of Primary Blight, I do use it a lot on beam weapons. I have been really enjoying it. You know, I even have it on Burston Incarnon, which does actually take advantage of multi-shot, but the idea that multi-shot on a beam weapon just means more damage, and you just have a separate multiplier for your damage on top of having like a damage number on your Riven. So like if I have a Riven for the Torid, for example, which is damage and multi-shot. Oh, he stole my gun. Oof. Criminal. So if you have a Riven that's damage and multi-shot, then that just means you have damage and then a separate damage multiplier on top of that. So insanely criminal. And yeah, I'm rocking Blast, and you're kind of seeing it that whether the enemy dies or whether they proc 10 stacks of Blast, you're still going to nuke everything regardless. So it's a classic setup. It's exactly what you want to see. Like, most of the stuff that I've been doing recently is like I wanted to do the S tiers and the A tiers to start off because I think the pistols is a lot easier to talk about because that list is a lot more concrete and I'm a lot more strict when I talk about the secondary weapons. And then we'll do a video on melee weapons as well. So we've got a lot of different videos coming. But yeah, we're just going to be doing them once a week. Obviously, this is very talky. This is very on the rails, so I still want to do, you know, other streams, and most of my streams are going to be just yapping, and, you know, you guys can join in and play. So, you know, when I'm doing these 5 minutes, I'm not getting anybody in my squad. This is always solo, so that I can properly show off the like the crowd clearing potential. You need to have full control over the enemies available to you, so that you can properly display the power of the Torid Incarnon, right? You're here to show it off. You got 5 minutes. I will do time codes so you guys can go in and watch each of the 5 minutes for like the. We should have time potentially for the top. What would it be? Top 10? Yeah, if it's 5 minutes per run, then we could do top 10, maybe top 9. I would see potentially, but yeah. So far we're good. We're doing fine. I'm mostly just using the 50% buff, but you can see right now that the the vigilante buff is giving me a huge margin of power. Like it's stepping me up by a pretty big margin. You know, when you're over that 100% crit chance threshold, then it becomes way more valuable. So, you know, that's what I've been loving more recently, is like getting that higher base crit chance, and then potentially being able to add on to that with stuff like Arcane Avenger, or just like whatever crit buff a frame has is like super important. And yeah, it's like the upper echelon of the crits is where it gets pretty crazy. But you can see here, like, so the Acolytes have a very interesting damage attenuation, where it's like, you know, if you're dealing a lot of damage ticks that are relatively low damage, then the Acolytes will bypass that in a pretty aggressive way. But if you have a bullet, a single big fat fucking bullet that deals a zillion damage, then it'll just tap the Acolyte instantly. So it's funny to think about how, you know, like when you talk about a Necromech kind of has a little bit reversed, you know, in terms of the attenuation scale, where a Necromech is gonna really knock down the top tier, you know, like single damage ticks. But, you know, it's also just way more fun to shoot a Necromech. Like shooting in the back, getting that big damage buff is just so satisfying. So we love our high value targets. We love our really strong enemies. So I think we're good here. We can tab over and be safe. So I think still the chat should update if somebody says something. So I don't think I need to be scrolling. If you see me like open the start menu, it's because I'm scrolling down so I can see if chat's anything. But yeah, we're still chilling. I'm just blown away. That's what I mean. Like, it's just too easy. We'll spawn the Thrax. We'll see. We'll do a little test against the Thrax, and then we'll be out of here. So quick 5 minutes each. And show off a couple different weapons. That's what I mean. Like the upper echelon of this tier, I think, is the most important to be concrete about. Like when you're talking about, you know, the 15th strongest weapon in the game, you know, like the margins and like the numbers and how what you're actually talking about can definitely change. And, you know, I think we all have to realize that, you know, tier lists will always be very subjective. And now that I'm just like playing the game, and, you know, I don't know, I always feel weird about people speaking super objectively about gaming, because in the end, like, a lot of it is playstyle and usability, and, you know, I want to talk about a sniper and I want to mention all these specific weapons. So I do think that, you know, a lot of this is take the list, you know, take it as some recommendations. If there are ones that you enjoy as well, or you like what I'm showing off, then, you know, that's what I want to do. Is like, you know, the top 10 you'll see more often, and they'll have a certain level of power. So I do think I've thought about doing like a stream talking about each weapon, and we can talk about each weapon on, you know, specific builds when I go through and do whatever Omnias I'm doing. But oh, we already killed the Thrax. Okay, I can be out of here. Sorry, I'm 6 minutes in. I can leave. I'm done. All right, keep moving. Safe, chilling. All right, we're out of here. We survived. Okay, looking good. And that's what I mean. Like, the top top of the list. These guys have this type of power where they are a little bit silly. You know what I mean? They do put off... They just have so much fucking aura. You know, they just nuke so easily that they'll always kind of exist where they are. So I just enjoy this shit so much. I have so much fun trying out all the weapons and revisiting these tier lists. How the fuck did I get 100 Void Traces? How the... What? What? Oh my god. I'm losing it, dude. And I get fucking Forma blueprints. Is it gonna tell me how many blueprints I own? Tell me how many blueprints I own. Come on. 2 crafted. Oh, it's not gonna tell me how many blueprints I own. I have like 200 Forma blueprints. And I have 2 blueprints, or I have 2 Forma crafted. Okay, Torid Incarnon, number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list, Strun Incarnon, which is also pretty high on the list. Yep. Strun Incarnon, here we go. Same thing as before. Not gonna swap my build at all. Back in. Completely normal. Should I do the ones? Should I burn through some of these singulars? I feel like I should. Alright. Let's do it. Let's get some water. Yeah, this is what I mean. This is fucking on the rails Amar. This is maximum game, and I'm trying to... I want to be able to show off these really strong ones, because they are so fucking silly. They are just... They give you this power. And obviously, a lot of them are Incarnons, but yeah, I have the Nataruk on the list. That will exist where it is, but easy to charge. And then you can just kind of nuke everything. This is with the Riven, but you gotta at least show it. You guys want to see the power of the Riven. I know. I can feel it. You guys know. So we're chilling. You know, the choices that you can make with a Riven, like if you can get set up with any of these weapons, you can roll some shit that will just send you skyward, just give you something super silly. So I'm enjoying it. Ooh, I was meaning to test something. Yeah, I was gonna look at that. Ooh, my god, you see that? I don't know what the hell that was, but this is just so easy to use. You get like those I don't know if you're getting blast procs as well. Yeah, it feels like you are getting a bunch of blast procs, but this is insanely criminal. Yeah, this is guaranteed fire and guaranteed slash, so like the AoE on Strun is just so broken. Like it just, and yeah, it's a 4-meter AoE, and it needs to be. It needs to have a charge mechanic. It needs to have some downside to where to like warrant this level of power. You know what I mean? It's insanely goofy, right? You're just like dumping into anything. I'm not even really aiming. I'm aiming at the fucking ground. That's it. I need to move into the middle of this arena. We're getting super lucky on the arenas, which is just insanely poggers. So first couple rounds looking pretty good so far, but look at this, dude. I mean, and you can charge the Incarnon so easily. But this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, like yes, right. The Latron Incarnon bounces, right? The projectiles can do some really wonky shit. But I gotta tell you, man, like having this kind of insane upfront damage. Well, not upfront damage. I guess like tacked on damage would be the way I describe it. Like you just know that you're going to be guaranteed all this power, and yeah, I guess my Riven actually does kind of send it skyward, but those stats are a little bit criminal. They're kind of absurd, so still chilling. All right, looking good. Oh my god, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is number 2 on the list for a reason. Oh my god. Yeah, the Riven is like maxing it out a little bit too hard, but you have to see it, man. Hi, can I join? Unfortunately, these are... Well, you could probably join tomorrow. But yeah, we're loading in 5 minutes at a time, swapping the weapon every time. So we're not really like doing this the most optimized way. You could probably stop by tomorrow. Generally, this is like very scripted, and I want to show off as many frames or as many weapons as I can. So it'll incentivize me to move a little bit quicker if I'm loading in and loading out. So unfortunately, we're burning a very special video. So to do this tier list, you know, part of it is that, you know, we didn't even play Warframe for the first hour and 10 minutes. We were just talking about the weapons, doing the review of the tier list, you know, doing the builds and stuff. So I can do a little link, and you can go to the YouTube video and see what I mean. Like, it is a very in-depth video, and I wanted to make these guys kind of a decent breakdown of, like, okay, you know, when you talk about the top of this list, it needs to exist in a certain level and reflect a certain level of power. So I'll always say that, you know, Torid will have its power because it's insanely easy to charge. This guy is also very easy to charge, but yeah, this it's fun to return. I guess that's I do enjoy this, like showing up, having to talk specifically about each weapon, but you can see that, like, the power is just kind of built in. Like, you have this upfront damage. You can just nuke them for a shit ton of damage, and then you're also getting these backloaded slash procs and fire procs that will allow you to kind of spread your bullets around and then maybe do 2 passes at the enemies. These guys need to be killed instantly, but yeah, of course, they're just nuked immediately. So, you know, great to nuke Battleless, great for nuking Thrax enemies. You know, there's a lot of power you can rock with, so it's just too much fun, man. But yeah, we're finally actually able to play the weapon, so this is what you want to see, man. Like, this is the type of power fantasy that you want to be rocking. But yeah, this is what I mean. Like, the level of damage over time that you can get from this weapon is just so absurd, and I think it has to be celebrated. Let's just nuke Torment. I want to see if the fire and the slash will do anything. So you know what I mean? The damage over time doesn't really do anything for the acolytes, but, you know, understanding how the different, you know, high class or high value targets work. Like, there are different VIP enemies that will take damage in different ways and function in different ways. So it's important to understand the nuances between them and be able to work. But you saw that, like, the bullet just deals a zillion damage, and if I dome this guy in the face, you can see now the slash and the fire just chunks him. I shoot him once. Where's his homie? Is he? Oh, he's chilling. He's doing his little lasers. Look at this little dude in his laser show. But yeah, let's just tap him. We'll tap him one more time. Yeah, he's chilling. So, you know, in terms of, like, Thrax, you're kind of wiping them a little bit too easily. And you're going to see a similar setup with Nataruk. So, you know, I love talking about these types of AoEs because they do just offer this level of caveman gameplay that I just fucking love, man. Like, you just get down with it. You know, it's got that. This is Warframe on easy mode. You know, that's what I talk about. Like, the weapons that I'm going to be talking about in, like, the top 20 for each category, they are, like, putting Warframe on easy mode. And I want them to be in a specific way where, like, yeah, the top 10 are kind of going to be there for a reason. And what I will say is, like, for anyone that is looking to go into the Steel Path and stuff like that, getting access to stuff like the Nataruk, right? Getting access to Acceltra Prime if you're at a higher master rank. Like, there is a lot of power that you can get that I do have in the top 10 for a reason, because I want to be able to be like, okay, if you're going to go, you're deciding between Kuva Liches and Sisters of Parvos, I would say that, like, Tenet, Arca, Plasmor can give you a lot of power, and it can push you through a burden. And what I've noticed is that, you know, the early game, completing the star chart, completing the new war, requires mods, and it requires basic game mechanics, and it requires leveling up. But to complete the star chart, or to complete the star chart and the Steel Path, to be comfortable in Steel Path requires a weapon and a build. And you can get through, like, getting through most of the star chart and the new war is not the hardest thing in the world. But then, yeah, the burden of being good enough to make it into the Steel Path, to be able to function in arbitrations and not be a burden to your squad, which I think is very important in arbitrations, that if you're dying a lot, you're not going to be farming a bunch of Vitus Essence. So I think that's very important, is, like, you know, getting to the new war is an important milestone because it means you get access to the Nataruk, and then now you can put yourself at a really good margin and actually give yourself some type of power to roll through and kind of steamroll and have some kind of DPS that, you know, you're not actually struggling too much.
Their focus impressive.
Which weapon are we using? The Burston. Oh yeah.
Warriors death.
Well, let's see if we can charge it. Let's see how successful I can be, but you're going to see. So this is an important one where this is a beam weapon, but, right, big but. This is a beam weapon, but it actually benefits from multi-shot. It is actually just a full auto that has pinpoint accuracy that shoots like 20 bullets a second. So we instantly get our gun grab, so that guy needs to fucking die immediately. But yeah, you can kind of see how it'll rock, but yeah, we've just got a lot of damage. It's really easy to dome these guys in the face, and you can see that, dude, I need to make my damage numbers smaller because sometimes I can't fucking see what I'm shooting. And dude, oh my god, there's this fucking dude on TikTok. I won't say who it is, but you know. And he would just post like a zillion fucking clips of the Occucore with like the largest damage numbers bolded you've ever seen with all the numbers. And he'd be like making memes about it, and then it was like fucking, it was like doing Venus capture. It was like doing a Venus exterminate on Steel Path. I was like, dude, are you kidding me? Just take it into Omnias like a normal person. Like even a void cast or even the conjunction survival Omnia is more satisfying to watch. Like I always try to bring this into Omnias, but I will say there are certain moments like I can definitely see that. In Trotty survival Omnias are boring. I try not to record footage on a alchemy Omnia, but if I can, then I usually try to get some footage from an Omnia because, you know, you'll get the corrupted ancient spawns, you'll just get the higher spawns, so it's just more fun. So I do need to do that. I need to start recording some more background footage for you guys, so it's fun for me to do. I do a lot of stuff off camera, so, you know, when we're talking about doing S tier this week, it means that next week we're going to be covering A tier weapons. So, you know, these are some more fun weapons that I wanted to show off. That you know, the A tier list is definitely way more flexible. Where I wanted to do, you know, if we're talking about the top 20 and then the next 20, like the next best 20 weapons, you know, number 21 to 40, like that list is going to be, I think, way more fun. And it's going to offer you some opportunities for some interesting setups that you can combo differently. But, you know, the top 10 strongest primary weapons in the game will always kind of need to be of a certain power for a reason that they just got to clear like crazy. And, you know, whether you have priming, whether you don't have priming, whatever your setup is, whether it's in an Elite Archimedia, whether it's in the circuit, you know, if you're doing level cap, like, at a certain point, like these weapons, you'll have some crossover. I may not have the same tier list as a level cap tier list, right? I may do things differently than those types of people, but I would say that you may potentially see some overlap with that type of tier list, and that's where you'll see a different tier list. Like this tier list will cover you through, you know, solo Omnias. It'll cover you through solo Netracells. It's an Elite Archimedia setup. It'll cover you through that as well. So, pretty easy to use. Obviously, the Riven will give a lot of power, but generally, like I think they all have a good margin to work with. And I've been curious. I've actually been thinking on this weapon about using, like primary Merciless and then using, whatchamacallit, using status damage. So putting in Rifle Elementalist, I think that might be a pretty interesting combo. Because obviously, like, when you're clearing your blast procs, multi-shot is not really giving you a huge buff. I do like the crit damage, but I don't really care about multi-shot because I don't need more blast procs. I would rather have higher damage blast procs. Ooh! Damn, they fucking wiped me through everything. That's fine, chat. It happens sometimes. I need to not be standing still so much, but yeah, I get a buff from whatchamacallit. I get a buff from, oh, is it Angst? We're fine. I get a buff from bullet jumping, double jumping, and rolling. I need to charge this guy real quick. Alright, charge, easy. And then come on. I think I should be able to still, where is this guy? Yeah, you can see, like, you can see that the bullet actually just does a zillion damage to acolytes, which is good to see. You know, it's different than the Torid, right? It's got a different setup. The way the damage functions is actually different, and that's an important thing to understand about these weapons, is that, you know, they will function a little bit differently. They'll have some variety in terms of power. So if you want similar in terms of like nuking capability, but you also want, you know, more damage capability in other margins, then you could be rocking Burston and Incarnon for sure. Like it's got that alternate route power where you are seeing different stuff, but I'm struggling a little bit. I need to reposition myself and get my shit charged. Get my shit all maxed out. Oh, and then you steal it, you son of a bitch. Oh, didn't mean to stab him. I'll stab him though. Okay, safe. And then we'll charge our Incarnon and then be on our way, chat. So you'll see that, like, obviously you're gonna have more value from grouping up enemies still. Like some weapons potentially, like this guy number 3 on the list, is losing out a little bit in terms of like crowd clearing capability, but you can see I'm just nuking Thrax. Like we can let it fail, but yeah, I really just want to talk about this. But yeah, there you go, there's a Thrax without any priming. You can kind of see that. So it's got me thinking, right, chat? And there you go, you can kind of clear them out. Alright, so you can see that, like, you know, it may potentially slow down a little bit. You know, it's got a little bit less crowd clearing capability. Obviously, it's just a beam weapon, so it does function pretty similarly to whatchamacallit. I guess I would think about Tenet Flux Rifle and like Gotva. So that's actually how I have it more built. But you know, it's got me thinking now that, you know, you might be rocking, I don't know, man, you might be seeing a different setup soon, but I still like it. Like, I think that, you saw, you can land some good hits. You can deal some good damage. So it's fun to have this weapon. I think it's a fun beam weapon in general. Like, it offers something that, yeah, you see it here, and then you can see it other places and start to understand how it works. And the idea of, like, okay, this is just a full auto that's insanely fast and pinpoint accurate. So, you know, it actually works a little bit differently to a beam weapon, and so you have to think of it a little bit differently. So very fun, very interesting, but yeah. Number 4 on the list is Nataruk. And this is an exciting one, because this is one that I have been thinking more about in terms of, like, if I were to recommend, like, what is your steel path go-to? Like, what is your setup going to be if you're heading into that type of gameplay? But no, I think it's a very fun weapon, and when you land it, you land that shit. And you don't need to feel too worried about landing the perfect shot, because you're going to get like 30% more crit chance with my setup, or just with, I think, critical delay, and then you're going to get like 0.5 extra crit multiplier when you have Vital Sense. So, you know, not the most massive buff in the world, but you can still land that perfect shot, and you'll kind of see it. So it's got primary crux in there, so very fun setup. But yeah, we should be able to potentially get through the top 6 or 7, I think. We'll see. All right. Yeah, we'll have to land some decent headshots to actually deal the damage that we want. Okay, safe. Oh, come on, land the shot, you fuck. Where we at? No, on the primary crux. All right. Let's start running this way. Let's see if I can line up some shots. I need just a straight line of heads. Yeah, there you go. There's 5 stacks. Okay, let's see. 10 stacks of primary crux. All right, now we're chilling. And now we just kind of aim down a hallway, and we've got hunter munitions, and we've got the fire proc. So we're going to kind of let it work. I need to actually be bullet jumping and shit, but hey, I think I should survive. So we'll see just how easily I can do this. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is the goofy shit that you need to see. Alright, let's see if we can land some good shots, but looking good so far. This is too silly. Look at this shit. Oh my god. Yeah, this is just like down the hallway, shoot the fucking bullet, you know what I mean? Not even really thinking. Just kind of line them up, let them fall down. I'm not even really fully I'm not even really perfect shotting it. Is it a bigger bullet if you perfect shot it? I don't know if it's a bigger bullet. Oh, this is a good room actually. This is a really good room. But you can see I don't even have the defense buff active. Okay, I need to kind of bunch them up a little bit more. Ooh, that's a good shot down the hallway. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, bullet is decently girthy enough that you're actually kind of making use of it. Oh, did not mean to pop that. That's embarrassing. But still safe. Yeah, this is an important thing to understand, is like the ability to get headshots is very important. Oh, I'm getting a little bogged down. Here, let's reposition. Let's reposition to here. And then I think we can rock it. I think we can just max it out like crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, this is what you want to see. Yeah, this is the gaming moment. Okay, safe.
Your relic is open.
Okay, excellent. Looking good. I'm impressed. Ooh, watch that. I saw that. Okay. So I am kind of seeing it, like where you're locked down, you're standing too much, and you're taking a little bit too much damage, but you can definitely line up a zillion shots and just kind of wipe them like crazy, so it just deals way too much damage. I am thinking more about just using the roll, and that's it. Alright, safe. Down a hallway. Down a hallway. Yes. Everything is a hallway if you're a genius. Okay, now you're seeing it. So this is the type of shit that you're working on. Like, what you're actually thinking about is positioning enemies properly and being able to take advantage of the spawns is it's really what you're looking for. Like, you got to get serious about when you've got a specific setup, like you can maximize it to a degree that is very absurd, and I don't actually think it's too difficult. I think it's a lot of fun. I think you can get some crazy setups, but yeah, I had to put this at number 4. I wanted to put this on the list. It just has so much power. Does so much damage. Okay, nice and easy. Yeah, you kind of just keep moving back and forth. You can keep lining them up just like this. Is it simple? Absolutely. You can land a couple headshots. You're at 10 stacks. 10 stacks of primary crux. Like, it's a fun weapon to use. It gives you a lot of damage on the bullet, obviously. So you can just maximize that like crazy. So you can kind of see the type of setup that you can rock, and just the level of power that you're rocking sometimes is just, I mean, it's what you want, right? You get to this margin, you complete the new war, you're like, fuck yeah, this is so cool. And then you get access to this bow that just like nukes. And it is just so easy to use, just double fire. All I'm rocking is the 90% fire mod and the 60-60 fire mod. And then I'm using primary crux. And like, yeah, you need to do Warframe 1999, but getting primary crux is actually very easy to do. Like, the 1999 arcanes are like some of the easiest arcanes to farm. And like, if you just sit down and have the time for it and do a bunch of exterminates, like, basically all it means is that you should be ranking up your 1999 standing, and then while you're doing that, you should always be getting the vaults, because they basically always spawn. So you can see the blast or the fire and the slash procs doing pretty decent, but this is the kind of damage that you like line up a couple good shots and you can just let it rip down a hallway. Insanely crazy. And this is what I mean, like a bullet that deals a zillion damage is going to benefit so much from 2 separate, like, any damaging status effects is just going to add on top of whatever damage you're doing with your bullet. So, you know, when you talk about specific setups, like, favoring specific elements can benefit you potentially, but you can start to chunk these guys pretty quickly. And there's the battle list. So no headshot for this guy, unfortunately. I don't think I have... Yeah, I didn't have Crux active, so you can feel that. There's a Zaku Prime chassis. That's pretty good, but... Yeah, you'll watch it against the Thrax. So Thrax are very interesting in terms of like what type of damage they take. So they are one of the more interesting VIP targets that you're going to be dealing with in terms of like how you deal with them and what type of damage they're weak to. Like, these guys take a lot of damage over time effects, and you can kind of just chunk them up and watch them go down like it's nothing. Oh, this guy's going to get corrupted. I need to run away real quick. Here you go, he's cooked. Alright, there's one. Nice, he's out of here. And I can move over to this guy. Perfect. Oh, he's going to do his laser. That's fine. Ooh, he still snagged me, dude. They always manage to snag me. I don't know what it is. Can I shoot this bubble as well? Oh, come on, man. Do I have 8 stacks of Crux. Okay. Safe. Chill. Yeah, you can kind of feel it sometimes. I mean, yeah. The margins sometimes where I'm like, you can get some good shots and you can get some bad shots. I do unfortunately feel that at times, but my boy has died. My silly little companion. But we're safe. And yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I love these types of bows. Like, you know, you have a whole category now of this type of setup, infinite body punch through, big fucking girthy bullet. Like, they can kind of max it out. I see Max, appreciate it. Yeah, I'm what is this, number 4 on the list? Yeah, we got time for 5 and then probably 6 as well. Miter and Paris. I think I should have time for both of those, so pretty exciting. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be quick about it, but this is why I do it once a week, because I don't really want to be doing this back to back to back. So I will be farming Nightwave. I will be getting biotic rounds. I think I can get it this week, so I'm thinking about putting out a biotic rounds video as well. So I do think that I can make that weapon work and make it deal a zillion damage. So obviously that, you know, AX52 has a very, very strong combo. So that was number 4 on the list, Nataruk. Let's do number 5 on the list, which is, of course, Miter Incarnon. Now this is an interesting one. This is one that I enjoy very much, but the weird factor is maxed out, and it gives me a power that could be interchangeable with Latron Incarnon. That's another choice that I have. Appreciate the 1,600 likes. Thank you, guys. And the 5 new followers. I don't think I mentioned that, but thank you so much for that. Max sent a donut. Oh my god, thank you. Appreciate it, Max.
Pazul's assassin.
Alright, chillin'. Keep moving. We'll see how easy I can charge this. So it's a, you think of it like a bow almost. What the fuck? Why am I shooting? Am I super inaccurate? Oh my god. I think I have oh shit. I think I have whatchamacallit. Oh my god. I think I have the mod. What is it? Heavy caliber? I think I do have that. But let's do it. Let's show this off. Alright, here we go. There we go, chat. This is what you're talking about. You get less shots. You get less power. Alright, chillin'. Well, I mean, less power in terms of you have to be a little bit spare, but look at how it homes in on enemies. What I try to do with these types of weapons is hang out for a bit, let the enemies pile up, and then you can deal with them. Then you can kind of nuke them, have a good time. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good in terms of still being able to charge. Let's test this as well. Should I hold it down? Maybe I should hold it down. No, I think I should just tap it. Yeah, I think I need to tap it, and I think I need to be really close. But let's do it again. Yeah, you can kind of see it into a crowd going around. I am thinking, though. Yeah, I don't know how often I'm hitting with the bullet. I'm thinking I might put on Hunter Munitions. I'm looking at the stats. I'm kind of taking a peek and seeing I might potentially be actually shooting. I might want to actually shoot with the bullet, but oh, we found the second room. We found the second arena. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, we're kind of just burning through this, but I think we may potentially still be able to hit with the actual bullet. There's one slash rock. No, I think it's... I want to see. I may potentially be swapping the build up. Huh, let's test it. Let's see. Maybe looking at Hunter Munitions and just only really caring about the AoE. Yeah, it seems that my gun is super inaccurate, so that's unfortunate, but I'll handle it. It's just more damage. Let's see. Yeah, there's some slash procs. There's mostly heat procs. Let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it. I'm seeing mostly heat. I think it's actually pretty rare for me to hit the enemy with the bullet, so I think that's due for a swap. Okay, I like that. We'll make a little correction. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I get the idea though. I get the concept. Like I still see, you know, the power of like homing bullets is just way too criminal, and yeah, to get a insane margin of heat damage is just too crazy. But yeah, it looks like we're mostly getting heat damage, so I think I'm gonna replace it with Hunter munition. See if I can slot that in somewhere, and then we'll probably be rocking a little bit better. You can kind of see just tap in crowds and crowds and crowds. Very silly, but yeah, still got good margin. And I think what it means is that I don't care about heat. I don't even, if I'm scaling it towards heat, no I'm not, because you've got the guaranteed heat on the AoE, and that's kind of all you need. So no, I'm feeling real good about this. I'm feeling a little bit silly about the type of combo we could put together with this, but yeah, you can kind of see it. You have to charge it more often, but is charging an Incarnon difficult at this point? I don't think so. You may struggle a little bit against Thrax, but I like the idea of a saw blade that you have to be like right next to hit. But yeah, it does suck a little bit, but it seems like I can still survive. But yeah, I mean, it's good to return. All right, you're safe, set up, good to go. Okay. See, now is time for the damage. But yeah, I'm thinking that I'm proccing enough heat, and I'm not worried about status chance, and I'm gonna swap around my build a little bit and go a little bit more maxed on rock and hunter munitions. Probably gonna get more power out of it, and who knows? Yeah, that may mean that that Latron functions pretty similarly, but you can kind of see like the power that you get off of this. Like the way that the homing works is just so weird, and it'll like retarget enemies and like bounce around. It's just fucking weird, but it's fun and it's exciting, and it's a little bit overwhelming at times where you're like, what the fuck is going, you know, you're like a new player and you're in a squad and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing that's like filling my screen with bubbles that are nuking everything? And that's what you live for, chat. You live for seeing these types of weapons for your first time. Obviously not on the using them end, but just on the in the squad end, and that's a very important thing. You have to being able to see these weapons and be like, oh my god, that's very important, because you gotta ask, like, what weapon is that? Oh, straight up nuking mania as well, just bypassing the turbulence from Zephyr. That's insanely sick. So I love super inaccurate saws apparently. Struggling there, but there you go, surviving. Safe. And we're back. Okay. Looking good. Oh, Revenant, wonderful. I have 7 of them. That's cool. Whatever, we're chilling. Okay. But yeah, it's 8:52. So yeah, this is number 5. So we should have time for number 6, which is Paris Incarnon. Oh, and I think I will also do Acceltra Prime. We'll do number 7 as well. So that's a pretty good one. I wanna do that as well. You'll kind of see how the power checks out. Oh, that guy's nuked and that guy's nuked as well. Okay, that's fucking super duper gamer. Okay, chilling. How is he all the way to... Oh my god. Chilling. Okay, safe. And we're out of here. Let's do it. Alright. Finally, chat. We can move on to the strangest weapon. But first, I will remix the miter a little bit, because I'm looking at the AoE and I'm thinking we're probably going to get more power out of hunter munitions. So we can kind of skew the stats, not really worry about heat. Still get a lot of heat procs, and then kind of just go from there. So top tier gameplay. I have realized that you can get some absurd heat margins if you just like lean into it really heavily. But obviously that's like a weird setup that, you know, requires some decent stuff. Oh my god, that was 30 coins from Max. Oh my god. I love it. It's good to hear. All right. Are we safe? Are we good to go? We should be totally fine, but we can come over here. I want to change. What do I want to change? Let me see. Let's take a look. Yeah, I could probably just... Oh, it's just get rid of thermite rounds, I guess. Huh. Get rid of thermite rounds. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I could probably just do that. Oh, I don't have enough points. I would have to put another Forma in. Lower the heat damage. You still get a shit ton of status. And then put in Hunter Munitions. Huh. Yeah, you're still getting a bunch of heat stacks. Interesting. But look, you lose a lot of damage on the bullet. So it's an interesting trade-off, but I do like getting more heat procs. And then you could potentially replace heavy caliber. That's not a bad idea. Heavy caliber makes you a little inaccurate. It does also buff the slash proc, which is pretty powerful, but yeah, you could kind of swap it around if you wanted to, but I'm gonna leave it as it is, and yeah, we'll give it a shot. So yeah, you're definitely not proccing a lot of slash from the AoE, but I guess if it is proccing, oh, well, that's an interesting take. So what you're realizing is that if you are proccing off of the AoE, it's not doing nearly as much damage as the bullet itself, but obviously the bullet itself has the slash, so it's weird. Like, you kind of have two different routes that you can go down, and I don't know, I like it. I think it's interesting, but yeah, we'll give it a shot. I'll give it a test. Well, not now, but you know, I'll do it at some point. But we'll do one more. We'll do Paris. It's a 855. I should potentially have time for Acceltra as well, but yeah, we'll get right into it. Paris is further down the list. Paris is right here, and let's do it. I'm excited.
I could have lots of little babies.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Like this setup has always been so weird and just allows me the freedom to just do some bonkers, just weird shit in this game. So sit back, enjoy yourself. Let's do it. Totally safe. All right, let's do it. And yeah, I mean, top 7 is pretty good. It's what I was expecting. Like in the end, I won't really have a lot of time to talk about all the stuff. So yeah, I've got to do a bunch of time codes for everything, but yeah, I'm just going to do a build segment and then all that stuff. I was going to do, I was just going to put the weapons in the title. I was just going to rank them. You know, I'll put them in like a, I don't know how, I don't want to do it like a zillion fucking tab. Like, you know, I don't want to do it long-wise, but I do want to just write every weapon that's in the tier list. I just want to put them in the description so you guys can see, and it'll just be in order. It'll probably be like the top 10. I don't know, I'll have to see how long the list is, but we'll do like segments where it'll go down, and then you can kind of read it from left to right and top to bottom. So we'll kind of see it, but yeah, I'm getting a little antsy sitting here. I don't know what it is, like sitting for so long. I try to get up every once in a while and get some exercise, but I've been a little bit of a slacker lately. But yeah, you're kind of seeing it, just how easy this weapon is. Like, the power of split flights is just insane. Like, it is so much fun. You just need to line up a couple good shots, and then you have longbow sharp shot giving you these absurd numbers. So you can kind of just max it out like crazy. So I'm enjoying it, dude. I think you get some numbers that just are absolutely bonkers. But yeah, this is what I love, is just like you can kind of just run around with any of these weapons, and whatever you favor a little, even a little bit more, I would say that that's your pick. Just, you know, whatever you're watching, if I'm showing off the top 7 and you're liking number 5, yeah, then suddenly that's your favorite. That's the best, and that's the one you want to go with. So I have been thinking that we return and show off a bunch more of these weapons in the future, but yeah, I'm so glad for those guaranteed fire procs. Those 2 guaranteed fire procs is just absurdly criminal, but you know, the open playing field is clutch for this. I'm surviving pretty well, but I don't know where these guys are getting. Are they getting radiation procs? Oh, is it from my companion? Yeah, I think my companion is like proccing, like when I kill an Eximus, it's getting like a random, it's getting a bonus to randomly proc radiation. So if I get lucky, then I'll get a really powerful secondary status effect. So still chilling. Look at this, dude. I mean, just into a room, just so fucking goofy. And yeah, this is why, like, you know, I think Paris Incarnon is very good, but you know, longbow sharp shot and all this stuff, like the fact that it's Incarnon, that's why I wanted to put Nataruk where it was. A shout out 9-bit for send hi. Welcome in, 9-bit. Appreciate it. We are currently reviewing what is this? This is number 6. So, you know, the video is a S tier weapons tier list. We already did the tier list. We talked about the builds, so now we are playing the actual weapons. I only really have time to show off the top 7, so you know you'll kind of see how some of them play. But yeah, unfortunately, not really able to run around and spam. I thought about simplifying it and doing like the top 5 weapons and then doing a build about them. So I definitely enjoy it and have a really good time with it. So you can see that, like, yeah, number 6 still insanely strong and very, very easy to use with a level of power that you just have too much fun with it. So far, still good though. I mean, generally, what I love is just like Omnia's gives you the opportunity to have all these pretty simplified. You know, you have your Entradi missions and you have your you know, Zeramin missions. Oh, can I kill him with this? Oh, it's Mania. No, I'm not gonna hit him. Unfortunately, I sentence him to death by Void Strike. Death by Operator, that's what Mania deserves. Yeah, my amp does really crazy damage, so nice and easy to use, but yeah, there you go. We kind of do too easily with this weapon, but yeah, unfortunately, I can't always kill the Acolyte. You know, like, there are specific Acolytes that I can't kill. Mania is the main one where, like, yeah, specific weapons are just like way too annoying to even bother to kill Mania with, so you just swap to the Operator, use the 547, which is really just the FOD Scaffold, which is the 4, and the 7 Brace. Excuse me, the 7 Brace, which is the Certus from Vox Solaris. Alright. Chillin'. Should I just tap fire this shit? Alright. Oh, is this a double Battlist? It is a double Battlist. Okay, we need a little bit of nukage. Oh, no, just a single Battlist. Okay, good. A little bit lucky. Come on, down the field. Down the field, get some good shots. You're seeing split flights, which is just always the best. Just so much fucking power, dude.
The longer you hold out,
It's gotta be the GOAT for a reason. On bows, I'm like, come on, man. Like, this is the secret hack, and this is the reason that you can't use split flights on a lot of bows. Some of them are a little bit powerful, but the fact that I can use it on these Incarnon bows, I will take that. I think that's awesome. So, I think I'll leave it there. Nah, let's show off Acceltra. We gotta do it. Acceltra is another good one to show off because normal Acceltra is also very powerful. You good at this game? I'm pretty good at this game. I think it's mostly that I'm comfortable with a wide variety of both warframes and weapons. So you need to be able to, like, understand them and be able to play them. So, yeah, I mean, I love these missions, so. I mean, if you're complimenting me, then thank you. But I try not to just assume that. Yeah, thank you, 9-Bit. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're cruising, dude. I have a lot of fun with this game just because you have such a wide choice. Oh, I didn't even kill the Thrax. Shit, I didn't kill the Thrax. Fuck. Totally forgot to kill him. Gotta run back. Have no buffs anymore. Oh, no, I have split flights. Never mind. I never have buffs. Okay. Totally forgot to do that. Did not show that off to you guys. So let's run back, kill the Thrax, and then we'll be good. Okay. Apologies. There they are. Okay. I totally forgot about that. Just spaced a little bit. Come on, I need to get some headshots, charge up. This game is just like RoboQuest. Yup, dude. Fire take. Yeah, I love RoboQuest. I just recently beat the game and also unlocked the triple jump and the jetpack. And then I'm going for Hero's Landing next. I want to get that gadget, so I'm looking at the setup that I want to use and how many gadgets I want to use. So I just beat the game. I had a really goated loadout. I had like a bunch of homing weapons and shit, and that game is so much fun. I wanted to play the endless mode too. I wanted to do a bunch of that, so I was really excited to play that. There, the Thrax is nuked. We're good. So shout out anybody that loves RoboQuest. I love you. That's worth it. That's a fire fucking game. I should show that off on the stream. But yeah, I should mention this Friday is Hyperlight Breaker, because obviously they did a little bit of a balance pass and they literally nerfed my entire loadout. They nerfed every single. You got a nuke build for Equinox. Yeah, it's a pretty simple loadout. It's just Terrify. It's pretty easy to understand. So Terrify will full strip armor because, of course, the MAME, when you use the day form, you'll get a power strength buff. So power strength is actually pretty decent because it'll allow you to affect more enemies with Terrify, which just means nuking more easily. But yeah, this is a really easy. The reason I use this Equinox build is because it's actually just a defensive build. It has an absurd amount of defensive abilities. Vigilante Vigor, Fast Deflection, Adaptation, and then Arcane Double Back. So also Arcane Aegis. So it's just enough power strength to full strip our enemies with Terrify. I'm losing a little bit of range, but it's still a 39 meter radius on Mend and Maim. And then that means that Terrify is a 33 meter radius. What is this game called? This game is called Warframe. Super fun. It's a looter shooter. I'm putting out a bunch of videos. I have a video going up on Friday. That's a modding guide. So it's breaking down like what mods you're like, how the mods system works, like what type of setup you're looking at. So yeah, this Friday is a modding guide, and then I think next Friday is Tekrot Encore. So we're going to be doing a bunch of videos about Tekrot Encore. So I've got a lot of builds to make for that. I've been thinking about putting out some builds for you guys on YouTube in a couple different formats. It looks so fun. Yeah, it is an insanely fun game. But yeah, I wanted to put out a couple videos to explain the beginning of the game to you guys, and like the starter quests like Saya's Vigil and stuff. And well, Saya's doing the starter quests, I think you just need to follow the quest, and there's not really a lot of guidance I can give you. It's just like play the quest, do the quest. It'll walk you through it if you need to Google something. What the hell is that Acceltra skin? This is the deluxe. This is the Goss deluxe skin. Yeah, it is a unique skin for the Acceltra. Insanely fucking goated. Look at that shit. And I do love that Goss deluxe skin. I can use the heirloom horns or heirloom horns Signa, and it just looks so sick. So I love the fucking heirloom horns. They're so worth it. The Rhino heirloom. Alright, let's do some nuking. This will be the last build we do. Alright, let's run around. And you can see 5 meter AoE. Just insane damage that you can output at all times. So much fun. Did we get a shitty room? Yeah, this is kind of a shitty tile, so I may potentially just stay in this area. Alright, chilling. Safe. Nice, dude. Just dumping down a hallway. This is what you gotta see. And yeah, you've got Hunter munitions, so you can just get a bunch of slash box. Oh, 0 ammo. I gotta run around and pick up ammo. Totally forgot. Run around, pick up more ammo. Okay, safe. So I kind of gotta kill them and run through them. Kill them, run through them. Unfortunate, but yeah, you dome these dudes in the face. Like I said, the bullet still does a lot of damage, so it's important to be shooting stronger enemies in the fucking face, and then they really feel it. So you can see the crit margins that, you know, I have over 100% crit chance. So the vigilante bonus is just always active, so it is insanely strong. Oh, I was like, I've never seen it. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of cool deluxe skins. There's a deluxe skin for the Tongkor from Protea's deluxe bundle. Gyre Deluxe is coming out, and that has an Alternox skin, and that Alternox skin looks so silly. But I do love the Alternox. It's really weird. I don't think it's an insanely strong weapon, but it's fun to use. Bye, I'm going to bed. Yeah, appreciate it, 9-bit. Thank you for stopping by. Alright, but yeah, I should mention it. I do have a Discord. Link is in the description on YouTube. It is in the About section on Twitch, and is in the profile on TikTok. So I have a monthly raffle that happens for Warframe, so just join the Discord. The first time that you join, you'll get entered in automatically, and then for future months you just gotta show up and say hi and get involved. And yeah, like, we've got lots of people for you to meet, and then yeah, there's a community showcase that happens alongside that, and that is for anybody that wants to submit something. They can submit multiple different things, and they'll get submitted for multiple different months, and then they can, you know, they'll be entered in for the raffle multiple months. And then, you know, we have longtime viewers that have been here for a while, so, you know, as you get in the channel, then, you know, eventually you'll be entered in. And yeah, that's the whole idea. I want to incentivize people to get involved, to be active in the community, and then you can win some free stuff, and you'll win a guaranteed Prime Warframe set, you'll win a max rank Acolyte Arcane, you'll win at least 3 Veiled Rivens and potentially 4 Veiled Rivens, and I have been thinking you might be winning like an Anasa Sculpture or potentially some primed mods. I was looking at buying some prime mods and then max ranking them and giving away like a max rank of a prime flow or a prime continuity or something like that, and then you can potentially sell that if you want. So nice and easy. You know, you got some free Plasmor if you want. You got some other setups, but yeah, I enjoy it so much. Like, I love doing these tier lists for you guys because it's a way for me to talk about the randomizer. I didn't really mention it much in the video because I don't think it's really necessary to talk about, but yeah, like running with the randomizer, I have learned how powerful these weapons are from like swapping between them. Ooh, I'm seeing the slash status on that one. Kind of rethinking Hunter Munitions. I may potentially look at just putting in I don't even know, because I have damage in there. I would have to look at what I could actually put on there, but yeah, I'm liking how much the bullets are doing, but I'm looking at that slash effect and I'm kind of wondering if it's not really putting in a lot of work. Like I can dome this dude and we'll watch the slash. Yeah, that's not a huge amount of slash damage. So this may be a situation where you're looking at a bullet and an AoE that doesn't deal a lot of damage, so unfortunately the slash that's coming off of it is not the most maxed out. So I think you could probably swap that. I'd have to see what I have in that slot to replace it, but I'm definitely feeling the damage of the bullet, which is always nice. But yeah, pretty interesting. You may be seeing me rolling with like fire and slash at some point. I mean, like I have viral in here, but yeah, I'm looking at the setup. I mean, it is nice to have built-in viral for the bullet itself, but I do think you could probably swap the slash, the Hunter Munitions, and still work fine. Yeah, I can kind of like tap this guy, and yeah, I think honestly you could take off Hunter Munitions and just increase the damage of the bullet and be better off. But I would say I'm probably still keeping viral on here. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, let me give that a shot and see what I can do. Ooh. Well, I already said it. Anyway. Let's nuke a couple Thrax, I guess, then we'll call it.
Life support is at risk. Destroy them.
Alright, chat. There you go. Safe. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about putting like Blast on here or something. I guess I would have to look and see, but yeah, I'm gonna look at my Acceltra build and see what I can figure out. Alright. He's cooked. We're chilling. But yeah, I do not think Hunter Munitions is giving me the power that I want. I think it'll do much better on Braton, Incarnon, but definitely on this I'm gonna be swapping it and seeing what else I can roll with. Because I would say at that point you would just swap it with any type of other damage buff that you could get, and then that's kind of all you could use. So anyway, let's get out of here. Let's call it. I am potentially looking at using blast damage now. I don't know 100%, but it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does proc a lot of status. So yeah, it's got me thinking I might be changing some stuff up. So yeah, I guess now that's all I got for you. So if you are watching on YouTube, I do appreciate it if you drop a like on the video. It does help out. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching and stopping by, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And we'll be doing these tier lists once a week, so the next tier list will be next Monday. We'll be talking about A tier primary weapons. So I appreciate everybody who's watching live. Appreciate everybody who's watching in the future. Obviously, I hope the video does well for everybody on YouTube in the future. But yeah, I have a real good time with it, and I hope you guys did too. And yeah, that's all I got for you. Have a good night. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll just be playing some normal games.